Hello everyone, this is January Squid, and today we're playing the Unholy Dead Knight in Arenas. I first wanted to try this out in duels, but then like you have to wait so long for your cooldowns, and you really need your cooldowns to be really effective. And I just felt like it was going to be a waste of time as a DPS to like play duels. So I just instead played some arena. Mixed results. It's like you tend to get focused really hard as Unholy Dead Knight, but judging from like the damage you can do if left alone. It's like they really need to do that. It's like one thing that people can't let you do is let you stack up your festering wounds up to the max and then activate your artifact weapon, because then there's gonna be like 8 ghouls running around destroying them essentially. So yeah, I'm playing an Only Dead Knight, and these are the tasks that I have picked: adaptation, reinforced armor, and your magic zone, because that feels like the most useful one. Necrotic aura to like increase their damage that they take from your abilities, for example like your Dark Arbiter. Wandering Plague for like the extra disease, and Necrotic Strike for healers. It's like I haven't really fought against healers that much, so I didn't really need it, but it's nice to have for like even Retribution Paladins or something like that. And then here all will serve, so you can get this extra Betsy, why not? Pestilent Pustules, every 4 festering wounds you burst, you gain 1 rune for extra DPS. So it's like if you manage to pop them really quickly in succession, it's like hello runes, and they can like keep on DPSing. When a festering wound bursts, you gain 100% increased attack speed for 2 seconds. I like to use this one. I was also thinking about using this one, the Castigator, which can be nice if you don't really have that much time to apply the festering wounds. But it like rotates around critical strikes, and this one is always there. So that's why I like that one. Asphyxiate, because it's like a no-brainer. It's like 5 seconds done. Hey, thank you very much. A Spell Eater. I also used Corpse Shield, but like the ghoul dying is too much of a like DPS loss that I'd rather have Spell Eater. Shadow Infusion here. While your ghoul's not transformed, that will also reduce the remaining cooldown of Dark Transformation by 5. It's like here, like all 3 seem to be okay option. I just like to use this one so I can have like my ghoul up big as much as I can. I'd say Infected Class could be nice as well. It's like all of them can be used. Like here's like no clear option for me. It's like obviously there's been someone new out there who probably knows what is the best, but for me I just like this one. And then here Dark Arbiter is like the foul people just run out of it, and Soul Reaper also an option. It's like a nice like damage hit, but it's like 45-second cooldown, and only affects them with Soul Reaper for 5 seconds, whereas Dark Arbiter just increases your damage really a lot if you start spending runic power like an idiot. So yeah, those are the talents that I use, and the honor talents that I use, and yeah. From like before I start this, like there's gonna be some hits and misses. I'm sorry if I don't play well. It's like the whole point of this video is not to show like, hey, look at how OP I am. It's more like, hey, this is how an Unholy Dead Knight plays, and this is how I feel playing an Unholy Dead Knight. It's like in case anyone is mistaken that I make these videos like, hey, look at OP and how much I win, because that's sort of what it looks like with the tanks. But that's just because tanks are not balanced at the moment, and you're just too strong. So yeah, that being said, let's get into the gameplay, where we will see a journey, because in the first day of videos, you can see that in the top right that what date it is. It's like the first part I underutilized the Dead Knight, and you can see it in that I don't win that efficiently, but then the second day I utilize my Dead Knight a lot better, and you can see the difference and that I do a lot more damage. And so there's a little journey in this video which I found out afterwards, and I added a little bit here as well. It's like, just so you know, there's gonna be, at the start you're gonna sit there like, oh my god, you're not using the abilities properly, and at the end you're gonna be like, this feels more satisfying. So with that, now we go into the gameplay. So here we go into the first game. This is against a warlock and a monk. So I felt like, knowing that the monk has like Touch of Karma, we all know that I tend to attack through it. It's like I'm like, let's just go for full out on the monk, or on the lock. Use my anti-magic shot to catch most of the damage. actually forget to use my artifact weapon, which is completely stupid. Now I'm like, I can't. I fucked up and interrupt, and here you, as you can see, it's like I'm pressing my artifact weapon, but a bit too late. Should have used it earlier to get to the drain life. Now it's interesting. Like I thought I interrupted it, but apparently I didn't, and apparently the monk also couldn't interrupt it. So yeah, well, that's off to a bad start, I guess. And so here we play against 2 Unholy Dead Knights. And yeah, I got really confused with all the fucking army ghouls and shit. But yeah, this... like just getting killed by dots and like the gargoyles flying around. So yeah, that's like 2 lost games in a row. Yeah, probably like, hey, Unholy that probably sucks, but it will get better. Like I just felt like showing those 2 bad games first. Where it's like I don't make well use of my artifact weapon. And you can see there like how much your damage suffers from it, because you don't do that much damage. And here it's like just... it's like I didn't want to attack the other person because of being off, so first we focused that guy down a little bit. But as you can see there, the damage was really high. And this time I properly used my abilities. Can't let the mage escape. Trying to desperately survive here. Kite him a little bit, and then he gets killed off by the druid. So here's into our first 3 versus 3. And this arena was a bit bugged that you couldn't like move. So here the first choice obviously is like I'm just gonna ignore the mage and just gonna go full on the healer. Because I'm a Dead Knight, I can just anti-magic shell most of the mage damage away at start, and I need to really pressure that healer so that healer can't do anything. Pop all the cooldowns, including the gargoyle. And then you want to spend runing power to increase the damage of your gargoyle, but good CC on me. Yeah, the healer died a lot quicker than I expected the healer to die. As you can see, it's like I don't really properly use my artifact, and you're probably like, hey, why do you not use it properly? It's like sometimes I want to cast it, but then people get out of range, and then I fail to cast it. And yeah, welcome to the world of... I forgot to properly bind my... I remember for myself. But sometimes people walk out of range. And when people walk out of range like that here now, it's like I try to cast it, and yeah, we finally get it off. And there we go, the ghouls are coming out now. Yeah, it's like sometimes people walk out of range of your melee attacks. And when people walk out of range of your melee attacks, the apocalypse move doesn't go off. So you're like sitting there like, hey, I thought I pressed it, but you didn't, so there's no ghouls, and then you're just sitting there like, hey, I'm an idiot. But yeah, this is just me playing Dead Knight fresh out of like not having played Unholy Dead Knight on the beta since that one video that I did months ago, or a month or 2 ago. So it's like when you get more used to it, obviously we used it a lot better, so apologies again, but this is like how does Dead Knight play to fresh to bed. And it's like I know how to play Dead Knight, but then again, like this Dead Knight is completely different from the Unholy Dead Knight you know in life. It's like the core, like the ideas are there, but it like works completely different with those festering runes. So yeah, I wait out his anti-magic shell, and the moment his anti-magic shell goes away, I pop all my cooldowns. And I accidentally mistargeted the demon there, but he dies anyway. Now we go on to the warlock. It's like the damage that you do as Unholy Dead Knight is to be honest quite high. It's like if you get focused really hard, which they tend to do, then you don't do that much damage. But if they leave you alone for like just 5 seconds or something, it's like you instantly start doing so much damage on people, because you just need a little bit of setup time. And that's an issue with the Blood That Night, Unholy That Night. If you get focused hard with stuns, it's like you're worthless. But if you don't, then you're like insanely strong. So that's what I feel about like Unholy That Night. It's like it's like you can survive, but the moment like your Anti-Magic Shell and your Icebound Fortune run out, you're dead. So here I'm trying to get on the target, but it's not really getting a little bit CC'd. And here I finally get to go on the monk, place some dots on him, place the arbiter on him. Now I have to just play defensive. Place Anti-Magic Shell against the Deadner. The good thing is that the Feral Druid completely destroyed the monk whilst I was being focused into Oblivion. And here we just finish that, no problem. But yeah, it's like the overall damage on Unholy That Night, feels good, very high, one of the high ones I've seen, provided you don't get CC trained. But that's like with everything. But it's one of the higher ones. It also feels, for me, it feels like natural to do it. It's like, it's not like you have to really complicate. Your setup is fairly easy. So essentially, you just smash your Festering Strike until you get like a few, like the max is 8 legions. Then you pop Apocalypse, and then you just start nuking everything you can. It's like just spread diseases and start spamming the Scourge Strikes to pop the Festing Runes, and I get those runes back for more damage. Like here, I should have like popped my Apocalypse there. It's like it's like when you look this back, it's like I really see that I'm underutilizing the ability. And here that guy just goes up. It's like I really am underutilizing the ability. But it's like Apocalypse is just such a good ability. It's like your ghouls start mashing everything and they get like special effects. And here, because of the jumping, I managed to grip the Shaman, and I know that I want to focus the Shaman because Hunters have that pesky deflect move and that turtle shield move. So it's like no, oh no, that's the same move these days. It's like I really don't want to deal with that. It's like that would just completely deny a burst. This is games that I played today, so I'm actually making better use of my Apocalypse ability. You can notice it in the damage as well. So yeah, I just ignore the Paladin again. It's like the same story as with the Hunter. It's like I just ignore the Paladin because I know that he can like shield himself and then my damage is completely gone. So I'm just gonna go for the Warlock instead. Line up abilities. Summon the Apocalypse. And as you can see here, it's like the difference that I makes with like playing one more day extra, so that I actually use my ability correctly. And you can notice it in the damage. It's like in general, it's like my damage today felt so much better. Like these games are from today, like the one with the Hunter, that started with the Hunter. And like when you get used to the abilities more, it's like that Knight is actually a fucking beast. It's like you do so much damage. And yeah, I won't take out the Warlock because I don't want to deal with the mobility from the Vengeance Demon Hunter. Grip the Warlock into me, obviously. There we go. So actually, this is how you're supposed to use the Apocalypse. It's nice to actually see that I improve my gameplay over the course of my arenas, that I learned from how I started and how I fucked up. So yeah, and this is going to be the end of the gameplay. And as you can see, Unholy That Night damage is really high provided you play well. So as you could see there from the gameplay, where I managed to improve on myself, because the first day of gameplay from yesterday is like unutilizing of Apocalypse. It's like just overall bad decision making on when to use abilities, because I'm still used to the old Unholy Dead Knight, which plays completely different to this Dead Knight. But today, I learned from my experience yesterday, and I actually used the Apocalypse ability, right, for example, and I properly started up my abilities with spamming Festering Strike first to get the Festering Wounds up. So, yeah, Unholy Dead Knight, sick damage, provided you don't get CC'd like any melee. It's like, if they leave you alone, it's like that's something you really shouldn't do. Do never leave the Unholy Dead Knight alone, because they will start doing so much damage. It's just stupid. You can see that in all those little damage recaps at the end of the game, that I was so high continuously, because the damage is just insane when you're allowed to do it. So overall thoughts on the Unholy Dead Knight, fun to play. I really like the Apocalypse ability, like it gives like an extra dynamic to what you do. And if they keep artifact weapons in PvP, because I heard stories that that they were gonna take it out from PvP, but if they're gonna leave it in, like it adds like a little extra dynamic to the Unholy Dead Knight. But I think the damage otherwise will still be A-OK. It's like A-OK damage. Survivability, it's also very good. It's like you have to sacrifice damage, because you can't use death corals if you want to, because you need to heal with death strikes. So you have to sacrifice your death corals for that. But otherwise, yeah, really fun to play. Felt really intuitive after like one day, like after like, what is it, 10, 12 matches that I played, because I didn't include some because it was like 2 versus 3s and shit. Yeah, it felt really intuitive to play and fun to play, and yeah, overall good impressions on the Unholy Dead Knight. It feels, as a Dead Knight veteran, it feels like a refreshing change to the old Dead Knight as well. So yeah, with that, I'm gonna end the video here, and I'll talk to you guys the next time, which will probably be in the second episode of my leveling video. So, until then.